You know, a team that I am so excited for, and just so many questions, so many question marks, but it just makes me super excited, is the Carolina Panthers, man. The Carolina Panthers. I am so excited about the possibilities for this team in this upcoming year. And I mean, let's just look back a little bit, dude. These last 3 years with Bryce Young has been a straight roller coaster, up and down. And I mean, hell, you bring up the name Bryce Young, a lot of people are like, hey man, he's going into a year, he's going into a prove it year. He's got to show that, he could be the franchise quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, give them a reason to extend this guy, keep him around. But I'm excited, bro. I am. Even though this past year, even with Bryce Young, it was a little bit more up and down, but it was better than previous years I've watched. So I look at this Carolina Panthers team, and we're going to keep talking about them more this offseason, but one thing that got me really excited for this offseason was watching them up against the Rams. Yeah, dude, you watched them up against the Rams, and I can't remember what week it was, but there was a matchup. It was on November 30th. They played up against the Rams. I'm looking at the score right here. They beat them 31-28. And I remember watching that game, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, what's gone into the Carolina Panthers? And then to follow it up later on in the season, they would play them in the wild card round. And going into that game, I know a lot of people took the Rams. I took the Rams, but I was like, I watched the Panthers against them earlier this year. The Panthers could give them a run for their money. Sure enough, dude, the Carolina Panthers would end up losing to the Los Angeles Rams 31-34. The Rams beat them by 3 points, and that game came down to the wire, if I remember right. And so I came away with that, and I was like, dude, this Carolina Panthers team, the possibilities, right? Like, this team has so much potential. If they can just get things a little bit more consistent with the quarterback and just the team as a whole, they could be a threat to the whole NFC and the whole NFL along with the AFC if they were to get to a Super Bowl. Now, I'm not going that far. I'm not going to get that crazy. But if you look at this team, they are sitting in the NFC South. The NFC South is a major, like, nobody knows who's going to come out of the South. Nobody knows. Like, for the past 2 to 3 years, ever since Baker's taken over, along with Tom Brady, a little bit back when he was playing for Tampa Bay, they've kind of been running that division for the most part, Tampa Bay. But you look at how it kind of ended for Tampa Bay this past year, right? And you look at obviously the Carolina Panthers, they got into the playoffs. You look at the Atlanta Falcons with Kevin Stefanski, they could easily be in the race because we've been watching the NFC South in these past 3 to 4 seasons, and to like get, I don't know, 10 11 wins can win you the division. Now I'm expecting these teams to get better, but from what we've been watching, 10 wins can win you the division in the NFC South. And along with those 3 teams, you look at the Saints, you look at Tyler Shuck with Kellen Moore. That's a team that was catching fire towards the end of the season. And I look at the Carolina Panthers, bro, and I'm just like, Bryce Young, I know he's gotten a lot of shit. I know people say a lot of stuff about Bryce Young. Hell, when he came into the league, everybody's talking about his height. That's all anybody ever wanted to talk about when it came to the Carolina Panthers. But from what I'm looking at 2023 to 2025 right now. And I'm not on Pro Football Focus, I'm not on ESPN, none of that. I literally just looked up yards, completion percentage, touchdowns, interception. Bryce Young has literally gotten better every single year. Yes, from 2023 to 2025. Let's read it off. 59.8 completion percentage. Then it goes to 60.9 completion percentage 2024, 63.6 completion percentage 2025. Now I would like that 63.6 to jump up to like 60, 67, 68, but we'll see what happens. Then you look at the yards. The yards, it was kind of a little bit more weird. 2,800, almost 2,900 in 2023, 2,400 in 2024, and then 2025 was the best with 3,000 yards. And then the touchdowns. Then we'll just go touchdown interception from 2023 to 2025. 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. So now they add Chris Brazzell along with McMillan and some of these other weapons. I just think that the Carolina Panthers could really do some work in the NFC South. And I'm very excited to see if we get a very flat line, like consistent Bryce Young with a couple bad games in there. Cause you know, all these quarterbacks, even the guys that we consider the top 3, top 4, they all have bad games. So Bryce Young will have some bad games this year. But don't be surprised if the Carolina Panthers come out with some major swagger this year. They added some guys on the defensive end. I think their defense is a little bit underrated in my opinion. I do. Now, they're not a defense that's ranked in the top 10 and honestly really anything, I don't think. Fact check me on that. But everything I've looked at, passing yards against, rushing yards against, just everything across the board, yards overall, they're like middle of the pack in just about everything, dude. Just about everything. I think the passing and the rushing, one of them is like 20th. But if you look at every overall defensive statistic, their defense is middle of the pack. If you watch the Carolina Panthers, they're kind of a fast unit. They are, dude. They got some guys that fly around on that unit. And they kind of remind you of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, did you watch the Jacksonville Jaguars this past year with Anthony Campanelli, their defensive coordinator? Who I feel like a lot of people don't know. He's made their defense good with the Carolina Panthers. Who is your guys' defensive coordinator? Let me look at this right now. Panthers DC. I don't know who your guys' DC is. I apologize. Ejiro Evero. Ooh, I don't. Who is that? Bro, I've never even looked up your guys' DC, so that's a name I don't know. But here's one thing I do know about this guy. When I watched the Panthers, like I said, they flew around, and I feel like them adding just a couple guys on this defensive line and a couple guys on this overall defense. Don't be shocked if the Carolina Panthers are a team that just kind of sneaks up on everybody in the NFC towards the end of the year. Even if they're just hanging around with the rest of the teams in the South, I would not sleep on this team. I would not sleep on this team. And a lot of this season is riding on that whole Bryce Young factor. But hey, bro, I have a hard time seeing Bryce Young going out and playing any worse. I don't see him playing. What am I trying to say? Like, I don't see his performance being any worse than it was this past season, which wasn't bad. So I'm expecting him to get better. But a lot of it rides on Bryce Young and him playing good. But I'm really excited for the Carolina Panthers. And they are a team that a lot of people are going to underrate in this season. But you guys let me know what you guys think. Be sure to drop a like. Subscribe to your boy. All we do is talk football. Love and appreciate you. It's your boy, Shady Luke. And I am outie. Deuces.